I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever.
Before he was the baddest man on the planet, before he became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, there was a boy, troubled and filled with untapped potential. That boy found a mentor, a father figure, and a master of the sweet science. That mentor was Cus D'Amato. Cus didn't just train and teach fighters. He created warriors. And Mike Tyson? He was his masterpiece, his ultimate jewel. Cus believed that boxing was 20% physical and 80% psychological. So he didn't just train Mike Tyson physically. He built him mentally into a warrior. His psychological techniques were just as important as the boxing drills, and they played a massive role in transforming the young boy into a hurting machine. Cus believed that the best way to improve the lack of confidence in his fighters was through their subconscious. With the help of a professional hypnotist, Cus would wait for Tyson to be in a deep sleep and whisper to him affirmation like, "You are the strongest. You are a warrior. You are the best boxer to ever live." Over time, these affirmations became so true that Tyson didn't just believe it. He knew it. D'Amato also hypnotized the young Mike before every sparring and fights he had with him to kickstart his killer instinct. The old man also believed that fear was like a fire. If controlled, it could be an incredible weapon, but if the control over fear was lost, it could burn everything. He had a speech he used to give to his fighters when they felt nervous before a fight or sparring. It goes something like this.
All people are afraid. Being afraid is a very normal, healthy thing. If an individual were not afraid, I would have to send them to a psychiatrist to find out what was wrong. Nature gave us fear in order to survive. And of course, fear is our best friend. Without fear, we would all die. We'd do something foolish or stupid, which would cause our death or being crippled. Fear is something which has to be controlled. I always compare it to fire. Fear, like fire, must be controlled. And once it gets out of control, like fire, it can destroy everything around you. Not only the individual, but everything around you. But once you control fear like fire, you can make it work for you. Without fire, we wouldn't have the civilization we now recognize. The fighter who controls his fear can now function in a manner far over and beyond anything he was capable of before. Fear is your friend.
Move your head. That was something D'Amato always yelled at Mike. Every day, every training, every fight. Even on his deathbed, D'Amato insisted that his fighters' heads must never stop moving while they are fighting. The peekaboo style. That was the name of the boxing style Cus invented. A style of fighting with both hands up and a never-stopping head movement. A style so cautious that people called him Cautious Cus. The style consisted of constant pressure with offensive counters and a flurry of very short but powerful combinations. To perfect his style, Cus invented a specific bag that he called the Willy bag. A weird-looking bag with a bunch of numbers written on it. Each number meant a code for a specific punch. So when Cus called a number or a combination of numbers, his boxer had to react as fast as possible to put together the combination he demanded. These numbers were also meant for a code during fights. A code the opponent's boxers could not understand during a bout. So when Cus called a combination during a match, his boxers knew exactly what to do in an instant and could execute it with acute precision without the opposite team knowing what it meant. Cus once said that he was inspired by cats to create his fighting style. Pretty weird knowing that cats are not usually landing devastating uppercuts to someone's jaw. Cus D'Amato didn't just shape Tyson's boxing skills. He forged his body into a hurting machine. Tyson's physical conditioning was one of the most brutal regimens in boxing history. Cus believed that if you're in better shape than your opponent, you've already won half the battle. Here's how Cus built Iron Mike's conditioning. The old man strongly affirmed that running was the foundation of every boxer's conditioning. Instead of running just long-distance runs, he made his boxers run high-intensity, shorter-distance runs and hill sprints to mimic a fight's pace. Alongside his road work, Cus made Mike do a simple body weight workout spread through the day. Just a normal and easy calisthenic circuit of a whooping 500 push-ups, 500 squats, 500 shrugs, 500 sit-ups, and 500 dips. Wow. Of course, D'Amato also insisted that his fighter must have strong necks to resist punches and avoid injuries, so he made them do neck bridges to strengthen their necks. That explains how Mike got that impressive 20-inch neck that gave him his intimidating look. There are so many tricks and details that Cus used on his fighters. Let's review them quickly. Cus made his fighter wake up a first time at 4 in the morning to go running and make them go back to sleep before waking up for their full day of training. It's called a biphasic sleep pattern. The old Cus would also keep big dogs at the entry of his gym to test the courage of the new coming fighters. If they weren't brave enough to get past the barking dogs, Cus would not coach them. Cus was actually a strong believer in astrology and had a whole spiritual side of him that isn't really talked about. Cus never saw his boxing prodigy become a world champion. He died before Mike had his first world title. May he rest in peace. Let me know if you want to see more content and I hope you enjoyed learning about Mike Tyson training with Cus D'Amato.